Okay, good. Welcome, everybody, to the Carver Conservation Commission meeting of Wednesday, November 2nd, 2022. The order of business on tonight's agenda. The first order of business is a discussion on 187 Meadow Street.
Hello, Mr. Chairman. How you doing?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you tonight?
Derek Maxey. My brother and I own 187 Meadow Street.
Yes.
And we were here some time ago. We talked about us trying to put a home on the Cranberry Bog, and obviously we're going to bring the bog back. And you guys gave us some marching orders. So we have since, in working with your conservation agent, have a plan that hopefully has a lot of the revisions you guys are looking for. So that way when we file, we're all kind of on the same page. So I don't know if we've handed those out yet or not, Gary? Do they have the plans?
No, because we were wrestling with this.
Right.
Okay. So what are we looking at here exactly?
Well, I think the first thing the commission had asked for was a plan that showed the whole property.
Yep.
The previous plan only showed like 3/4 of the parcel.
Right.
And then the other thing was the setback, the colors for the 65 and the 100. That was a challenge trying to get the engineer to put that on there. And then your agent had asked us to do some additional things. Maybe he could speak to that, Gary? I don't know if you want to speak to that.
Oh, sure. Well, I asked for them to show the replication area because they had mentioned it in the text they changed the text down on the lower right of the plan, but they did add the replication area because they do want to fill approximately 2,900 square feet of fill within the existing ditch and bog area like the note says on the plan. I do want them to extend what he shows for the wetland delineation because it ends near where it says proposed ditch. Near it says, I think, wetland flag 3-1A. I think they should continue that going up north of on the plan. Going up more like up there because they end it right here.
All right, my first question is the pink and the green lines seem to me to be 65 feet from the corner of the house and 100 feet from the corner of the house. That's not how those are done. They're done 65 feet from the edge of the wetlands and 100 feet from the edge of the wetlands. Okay. So these markings are backwards. Okay. Am I
correct? No,
okay.
You beat me to it.
Okay. So this doesn't tell me anything. What we need to see is how close the house is to what are going to be wetlands. But go ahead, Gary. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, that's okay. And tell them what you said about tilting the house.
Yeah, so
to pull it more out of.
Yeah, so I after reviewing this plan, because we finally had these changes done yesterday, and after I looked at the plan where they proposed bedroom dwelling's going to be, my thought personally was if we could shift the house, kind of like turn it counterclockwise, and have it actually not encompass the ditch itself at all. And if we had to do like a retaining wall there, then we wouldn't be disturbing any of the wetlands. And I thought that might be something the commission would like to see. Which is a pretty simple change. I just have to have the engineer sit down and do it.
All right, the point is not disturbing the wetlands. The point is that not disturbing 65 feet from the wetlands.
Yes, and that also, yes.
These plans, we need plans that show the current delineation of the wetlands,
Okay,
and then a 65-foot line away from them
Okay.
on the upland side, and a 100-foot delineation on the upland side. So we can see where all of your proposed construction happens in relationship to the current wetland. And if in fact you are, and we can do that as another discussion.
sure.
You know, we don't have to go to the NOI yet on that, I don't think. I think we should just, you know, that way we can look at it and talk to you about, you know, what we could foresee as being potential issues
Sure.
before you come in for an NOI
Okay.
and go to all the expense of that. So
Okay.
I think that's what I'd like to see. Anybody else have any comments?
The only thing I would say is I see some notes here of regrading different widths and things like that in and around the driveway, and I just want to make it clear that you know, we're looking at not just activity as it pertains to the house, but any activity as it pertains to contact with the wetlands.
Okay.
Right.
Excuse me a second.
Yeah.
Jill, that was Jill on the phone. People are trying to get in the front door downstairs and it's locked.
That's why my brother's not
Thanks,
here.
Ashley.
Why would it be locked? Okay.
I'm up here wrestling with this thing. I
Oh,
don't.
I know. No, but I mean, they have.
We
the
were
meet-
looking at me, so.
They have the meeting calendar, and when there are meetings, the door should be unlocked. They understand.
Yeah,
that.
I walked in. Oh,
Yeah,
Dan,
you
one thing I asked them to do on the driveway, since there is a bog here,
Yeah.
they should pick up the top of the bank of the bog. And I said if they are gonna regrade, or, you know, because what parts of the driveway is it gonna fall into the bog to back up? what you
Yeah.
said.
But yeah, you're correct, Dan.
Yeah,
Any kind of
he
work
is.
that's being done. I mean, there is a road there, we've seen it, but it's pretty rutted and overgrown, so.
Exactly.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Just back to Dan's comments, I didn't quite follow that.
Oh, I noticed that it had said that there was going to be some activity in terms of regrading in and around the driveway.
Okay,
And depending on where the delineation ends up being, I mean, with the bogs or any of this, where it says approximate wetlands, just eyeballing it, where it says approximate wetlands, you're within that 65 doing activity there.
Yes.
So
yeah,
I just want to make it clear that while your concentration has been, you know, in the drawing is in terms of actual building construction, but I just want to make it clear any activity at all in concert with the wetlands is within our purview, and the same rules apply.
okay. So when we delineate the north side there, so we're going to delineate that approximate wetlands line, so we'll have an actual delineation
You
line.
need a hard line.
Yeah, we'll have a hard line there, and then any proposed work, obviously, because the driveway's there, we weren't planning on asphalting or anything like that, because we're kind of like the old bog roads.
Yeah, I know, I'm familiar with the road.
But if there is any change that needs to be changed in the grade or whatever, then I'll tell the engineer we do silt fence and what
Right.
we need to do in that area. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Right,
Okay.
because you are in the buffer.
Yes.
Gary, do you by any chance have on your cart there a different set of plans of some other project that would show exactly how the delineation should be done? Anything that would show the indication of the wetlands followed by the 65 and the 100? Just so we can get this done the right way
Yeah,
for the
because I had
next.
asked that on my comments, but I think your engineer took it as proposed. It's got to be existing.
Okay, yes.
Actually, both,
Okay.
if you can do it, you know.
Oh, absolutely,
How it
yeah.
is today and what
Well-
you're thinking about doing it,
Yes.
so we can,
You have to have a clear idea of the scope of work.
What happened at the beginning of the meeting?
Well, they just want to see the 65 feet from the actual bog road, not just where we're working. So that's easy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Of course, my folder with everything is sitting on my kitchen island ready to go out the door with me.
I know, I traveled late today too.
Is that the only thing tonight?
Does that what does that show, Gary? You just see.
So they're gonna get, so in other words, he put his painting green lines
Yeah,
around the water,
right.
but it should.
This is 65, was 100.
Don't we know that it's right?
Okay, we don't have one with color?
This is.
Okay.
If you could just reiterate that on the,
Yeah, I will.
yeah.
I'll just stay on.
But there's also a third color that we use to delineate what the wetlands
Right.
are.
That's an old delineation to begin with. They need
Yeah.
a brand new delineation.
Okay.
Nothing's changed.
All right, so you can show that to them.
Yeah, I will.
All right.
They didn't color it up, because this is a shrinking plan, but, we figured-
Oh, okay, from the,
right.
the
But
actual
it's
wetland.
from the actual
Okay.
wetland, not what you guys are gonna propose
Okay.
down the road. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
It-
So basically, it's the excuse me, basically, it's the opposite of what he did. It
Yeah.
needs to go the other way.
Yes, it's,
Yeah,
it's, yeah. It's not where the house is in relationship to the wetlands, it's where the wetlands are in relationship to what you want to do.
And it's probably not a bad idea to leave what we have also, so that,
Yeah.
without the colors.
Yes, but there should be, is it blue that's used
Yep.
to delineate?
We have a checklist on our website,
Right, we
you know,
said
for
it's-
project submission. The color code is on the second page of
Okay.
that.
Right, it's blue for
Green.
the delineation of what the actual wetlands is.
Yeah.
Then the green is 65 feet to the upland side of a wetland.
Okay.
And then the pink is 100 feet. I mean, the other way around. The pink is 65 and the green is 100 feet from the wetland
Actual
itself.
wetlands. Okay.
Because we have
Can't
to,
get
that
it from
tells us how much work is being done within both the 100 and the 65. The 100 requires our permission, the 65 requires a variance.
So this is,
Introduce yourself first
I'm Bruce Maxey.
to this, yeah.
Yeah. So that, we can't do it this way? You can't just deduct?
No, this is the
That's the opposite way. It's not 65 feet from the house, it's 65 feet from the wetlands.
Okay, I see what you're
All
looking
right, because that will tell us how
the
much of the
contour of the
house,
bog.
or how much work is going to be done, and how proximate it is to the wetlands itself.
at. We your jurisdiction,
Right.
that helps you
Yes.
guys. Okay, I get it.
You
Okay.
may want to talk to a wetlands consultant, because you guys have come back a couple times, and they could straighten out all these idiosyncrasies that, you know, keep coming up. Because they know exactly what you need.
Okay.
We're good on, are we all set with the culvert?
Yep, that's all set.
Oh, good.
Gary, what else did we have on that list of tasks?
I only had 4 or 5
That
things,
was
and we
it,
covered
okay.
all of them.
Everything's covered?
Well, that doesn't mean you got a good, that's just was a few thoughts I had at the time.
Right, tonight you guys talked?
Because see,
Yeah.
you gotta
I was locked
realize,
out.
we can't design that. We can't design this for you.
I get
And
it.
at this point, we're getting to the point where we're designing it for you. You gotta hire, you know, consultants to do
No, I don't
that.
think so. I think we're good to
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
Yep.
And
thanks.
make sure
So-
you guys write your names in on the sign.
I did already.
Okay,
Bruce is
cool.
gonna sign.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, and when when you've got something, just call Gary and we'll get you back on the agenda. And
Right.
it'll be a discussion before we go to official NOI and the public hearing.
Right.
I appreciate that.
All right,
Thank you very much.
thank you. All right. Next up is an update from Pine Gate Renewables. And I think we're going to have Julianne join us by Zoom. Gary?
Yep.
I'm
Oh, there she is. Hi.
There she is.
Hi, Julianne.
hello. There's a bit of an echo on me. I'll just talk lightly and not have it echo in my area.
You're getting an
Okay.
echo?
All right. So, can y'all hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, great. So thanks for letting me join. Sorry I couldn't be there in person tonight. Was trying to rearrange some of the things that I had going on this week, but ultimately wasn't able to do so, unfortunately. But thanks for providing the Zoom access so I could give y'all some updates. I know it's been a while since I've been here, so it seems like an appropriate time to circle back and let you guys know and others what's been happening on the solar Carvers. So, as y'all are aware, the timber pile removal has been underway for some time now. It is nearing completion. We've got one bog left on the Tremont site. It's got approximately 325 poles that are yet to be removed, and we expect those to be out of the ground in the next 7 to 10 days, weather permitting. So very near the end on pile removal, which I know was one of the biggest one of the more urgent requests and ultimately requirements for the project. So nearing the end there. The other kind of I guess larger pivot and some of the other updates that have happened since I was last here or last in front of the commission. So we went through almost just under 9 months following our enforcement order last December with the state trying to get ultimate approval on the concrete piles that were ultimately determined last year to be the replacement plan for the projects. And unfortunately, after 9 months of back and forth, that design was deemed to not be an allowable material for the projects in this specific environment. So we got that feedback at the end of August, and on September 19th, myself and one of my colleagues, we met in Carver with Gary Flaherty, with Tom Bott and Paul Boucher to kind of talk through what the next steps for the projects were going to be at that point, given this, obviously kind of unwelcome and unanticipated news. And at that point, previewed to them and wanted to talk through our proposal to return to steel piles, albeit somewhat thicker steel piles, to ensure structural stability. And kind of given the history of these projects and how challenging it's been to figure out what's going to be a feasible material and a permissible material, we were discussing having some of the larger, thicker steel piles tested on the bogs around the same time or concurrent with the removal of the wooden piles, which I think is happening. Well, no, I know is happening now. And I think that's been something that was another item that I wanted to address this evening, was that we've got, I think, approximately 20 steel piles that are in the ground over both of the sites. So roughly 10 at each project. And that is in the ground with the intention of again, doing similar to the prior tests that we did back in 2019 and 2020, kind of push-pull testing and just making sure that as we're pivoting yet again on the plans and the material for these projects, that this is going to be something that is structurally sound, is going to work, and that ultimately, is going to be a feasible, structurally sound material for use in the bogs. So that's happening now. We've got those piles installed, and we expect the testing to be done here in the next few weeks. And at that point, the plan would be then to pivot actually go through the engineering, the re-engineering of the projects, the plans themselves, kind of wanting to make sure that, again, this material is going to work before we have the engineering team dive in to update plans and go through the modification process with the planning board and whatnot. So I think I covered the majority, all of the updates that I was planning to cover, but happy to answer whatever questions may arise from that update.
All right, so we're going back to the steel poles, which was the original concept, the original thing that we approved as a commission, correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
That's the plan?
That's the plan. It's real, having that realization, it's an interesting one. But yes, that is correct. Steel piles, we're again waiting for the results from the testing that's happening on site, just to make sure that the piles that we're proposing, these thicker steel piles, are going to be sufficient and appropriate, and that an engineering team can stand behind them. That's kind of the immediate next step, and then we'll be putting some plans in front of you all to reflect those piles.
And the steel poles are an approved material under the SMART guidelines?
That's correct.
Okay. So you don't have to worry about DOER or the Ag Committee?
Or MDR, that's right.
Okay.
That's the hope.
I know that we talked a little bit about testing. Has there been any testing done around the poles that you've taken out?
So we do know that the testing has been complete, the sampling has been completed, and as it was addressed in the enforcement order, the enforcement order stated that we would do the same protocol following removal of the piles as was done when they were installed. So that has been done. We don't have any of the results from our consultant yet. We are not in receipt of those, but we know that the sampling itself has been completed on site.
Okay, great, because I know that's something that some of the members here are going to ask about, or want to get the results when they're available. So keep us
Absolutely.
apprised of that. Does anybody else on the commission have any questions for Julianne?
No, the test results were the main thing I was wondering. Is there an idea of when those will be furnished, as it has been a few months?
I don't have a firm date, but I do think we expect them to come in the coming weeks. I tried to connect with our consultant to get a firmer timeline today, but wasn't able to do so. But we do anticipate those coming here in the next few weeks.
There was some question as to the depth of where the samples were going to be taken from, because one of the key issues was how close to the aquifer the base of the poles were. So I'm not sure if test samples were taken, at 2 feet below, or at the bottom of the hole, or where, or if you know.
I know it wasn't the bottom of the hole. I mean, again, whatever protocol was followed last year or earlier this year, was the same one that was followed when they revisited recently. I know it was not at the base of the poles. I want to say that it was somewhere between 6 inches and a foot. I should have looked that up before I got on here. I don't know how deep they were, but I know it was, as agreed upon in the enforcement order, it was the exact same protocol that was followed as we did from the first round of sampling.
If I recall, when we did the first testing, we waited quite a while for those results as well.
Yeah.
I think that we were
It's a
like
lot.
tapping our fingers, waiting. All right,
Yeah.
Dave, do you have anything?
No, good.
No? All right, well, Julianne, thank you very much for zooming in and giving us an update. I'm sure we'll be hearing from you as you figure out more about what's going on with the different thicknesses of the steel poles and what works. And also, as soon as you get the results of the soil testing, please let us know.
That's right. Multiple tests happening, and you guys will definitely hear the results of both of those. So we'll be back. I'll be back, hopefully in person next time. But thanks for letting me zoom in, and give me a holler with any questions. But otherwise, we'll be circling back here as soon as we've got some feedback to provide to the commission.
All right?
Julian, Gary Flaherty, keep me posted on things, okay?
Will do, Gary.
All right, bye.
All right, thanks,
All right,
Julianne.
thank y'all.
All right, bye-bye. All right. The minutes. I would think
Table those.
we'll table those till we have Alan back. Zero South Meadow?
Okay, just to reiterate, they have a continuance. They did it in writing until the November 16th meeting. And Sarah Stearns of Beals and Thomas requested that on November 5th, which is this Saturday at 9 o'clock on site, she would like any commissioners that could show up and myself. So
Yep.
that's open?
Yep.
Okay.
It's going to be 70 degrees.
I know, we're gonna sweat. Other than that, just that meeting and the continuance, when she'll come in on the 16th.
Okay, if we know that things are going to be continued, they should probably be put down at the bottom of the hearing, that it's, I don't, you know, to the date that it's going to be continued to.
Okay.
You know, so right at the bottom.
I'll make a note of that.
Yeah, I think we've done it before on other
Sure.
ones, so just,
Yep,
you know, take a look at some of the past ones.
yep. Thank you.
And that's it. Sir, are you here for,
Yes, Meeting House Condo Association, we're looking to put some fencing in.
okay, that's the
That's
unanticipated.
at Plymouth Street.
Plymouth Street, okay. Okay, that's unanticipated, and that's in our, any topics not reasonably anticipated. Please have a seat and sign in.
We passed around, I had met with Gary, and I believe we spoke.
Yes, we did.
Mr. Chairman, a little bit ago. And so hopefully I got some information you're looking for and I can speak to it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
So, as I said, Meeting House Condo Association is looking to install a fence around a property, not around, it's about 104 feet on the front of the property, a Bristol-style fence, and then 108-foot by 6-foot privacy fence going down the southern side. It's extending the length of the existing building, and then 20 feet of 3-foot-high Bristol-style fencing on the northern side of the building. I attached the delineation. Got a copy of the property layout with the set when they were doing the septic, and I was able to lay out with the, where the wetlands are in blue, the 65-foot wetland buffer zone in red, 100-foot buffer zone in green, and the 200-foot riverfront area in yellow. What I did try to do is supply the commission with what I was talking about. I know, Mr. Chairman, when we spoke, you look and see what kind of fencing would be in the front of the property, and there's a copy of a picture of the Bristol fencing that I'm speaking of would be on 169 on the Plymouth Street side of the property. It's about 4 foot high, and then the privacy fence is on the next page. It's 6 foot high privacy fence. It's pretty standard. Did try to do some caveman pictures here to give you an idea of what I was looking at. So that's not to scale. That's just me trying to show you guys. I was putting it was going in the front of the property on the 104 foot, and that basically takes us to the corner of the property to right where the driveway entering into our property is. So it comes out to about 104 feet with 4 foot high fencing. And on the side of the property, it's where the post office is.
Yes.
So we've got a couple of pictures there to show what our intention is to go from the street to basically to the back footprint of the property itself, which is about 108 feet, 106 feet in distance. And it takes it up to, there's a small little shack that's kind of abandoned. The windows are kind of broken out alongside it. It would go up almost to that building. It's not our property. It's not on our property. It's a neighbor's property. And the last thing was on the last page you'd see there is just a small 3 foot high fence, Bristol fencing, just dressing it up on the driveway side and cleaning up that so it looks nicer. It matches up with the type of fencing that we're going to have in the front of the property. The The intention is not to go, when you go to the site map, and I work with Gary on this, is to make sure, I did not know if you wanted me to draw on this map other than the delineations on the colors here. But we're going pretty much to the 104 feet on the south side of the property, takes us right up to the edge of the foundation, or the building itself, the existing structure.
Can you say that again?
So it would take us from the street to running alongside where the post office is, to the pretty much the existing structure of our building. So it would go
To the
up-
back corner?
Yeah.
Okay.
There is an existing pressure treated fence there that is right. It kind of, they had to have a septic system put in there, and they had a 4-foot high fencing, so it would pretty much go up to that fencing, right
Okay.
alongside it.
All right, so on this, on your map here, then that would take it just about to a little bit further north of where the 2,500 gallon tank delineation is, where it says 2,500 gallons?
Yes.
Okay. So it's right, it's almost at the pink line.
Yeah, right to it, close
Okay.
to it.
All right. And so you're doing the, that's the west side. The south side is all the way across Plymouth Street up to the opening of your driveway, correct? Or not that far?
No, I'm looking at it has the north being up near Muddy Pond Brook to the right side of the property.
Right, but your property kind of goes
It's
north.
like a pie.
Oh, okay. But I'm saying that the privacy fence is on the west side of your property.
Yes, southwest side, yes.
Okay. And then on the Plymouth Street side, the fence is going,
It would be the 4-foot Bristol picket fence.
right. And that goes all the way from your property line with the post office to the entrance of your driveway?
Yes, pretty
Okay.
much there.
Okay.
We
And-
probably moved the mailboxes a little down, so we didn't, it would be easy for the
Oh, yeah,
owners
yeah,
to
yeah,
be able
yeah.
to get
I
access
see
to it.
that. All right, and the lower fence is just from your walkway, it looks like a couple of parking spaces till you get to your air conditioners?
Yeah,
Okay. All right. Well, you're going to need an NOI to do this. The first thing that, my opinion is that the fence in the front is not so much of a problem. It's pretty much out of everything except maybe the 200-foot zone, but it's a picket fence, and there are ways for wildlife to get around it. The fence that goes along the southwest side that abuts the post office is a solid fence.
yes.
And it goes from ground, I'm assuming ground, up to the 6-foot height as solid, called full privacy.
It would probably be, I don't know, 6 inches off of the ground.
Okay, and basically, I'm assuming it looks like the photo that's on this page, that you get,
Yes,
that's at the top of the page. Okay.
yeah, and I don't know if I don't believe it sits flush to the ground on that. I think the posts go to the ground, it sits up from the ground itself. The one that's circled
Yes, I see that. I see it. There's a little, looks like a little reveal.
Yeah, this one here.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just the
but
one
I'm
that's.
looking also at the photo above, and the panel on the far left looks like they're a couple of inches, but the panels to the right, it doesn't seem like there's anything underneath it. There's no space underneath.
Yeah, they're flush.
They're flush to the ground. Anyway, within the 100 feet, we have required in the past what we call critter fencing,
Okay.
which is the lower 2 feet of a fence being 6x4 wire mesh squares that allow animals freedom of movement along their natural habitat. So I don't know if this company, I would think that you could have the full height 6 foot up to the 100-foot buffer zone. After that, I'm thinking that we would probably want to have a critter fencing on the bottom 2 feet of the privacy. I think you'll still have the privacy that you want because it's at, it's the top 4 feet. But it will allow for the free movement of critters. And that's what that's the precedent we have set based on our bylaws with other Carver residents. So I don't know if there's it may not look aesthetically as pleasing as the whole thing, but there may
Right.
be a way to cut them down and then just put in the critter fencing underneath that. That's my opinion. Anyone else have any thoughts, ideas? Sounds. But as far as the front and the parking lot side, I don't see any issue with those fences as you wish them to be
Right.
installed.
So can you, I apologize, can you explain what an NOI would be? That is to have a full fence go back, we're talking about, or it would still have?
No,
to-
there's work that needs to be done within the buffer zone. So a notice of intent is, actually, what it does, it creates a public hearing so that your neighbors can come in, and if they have anything to say about it, they have the ability to be heard. Right now, we're in a discussion phase, which is just
Okay.
us and you. A notice of intent, do you think one is necessary here?
I mean, in my opinion, since that whole area is already heavily disturbed, and he's staying out of the town 65-foot buffer, I'd say even an RDA would be okay, since you're fine with the fence in the front.
Okay,
It's just gonna be that partial sideline where you want the critter fencing.
okay. So an RDA is
It's a mini light permit.
Mm-hmm.
What
Yeah.
it is you're requesting whether you need a full filing, the NOI.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's in our jurisdiction, but we're saying you're not gonna hurt anything, basically.
yeah, what is RDA, determination?
It's request for determination of
Applicability.
Thank you.
Applicability. Okay. So many acronyms.
And then you get a DOA, which is the answer, which is just determination.
So basically, you would just come in, is there a fee associated with the RDA or no?
Town fee, but no state fee.
No state fee, okay, so it's less expensive. It's still a public hearing and allows your abutters to come in, but it doesn't require notification, is that correct?
Correct, and I still have to put it in the paper, but he doesn't have to notify the abutters.
Right. So we'll go with an RDA. That's an easier path for you to take.
And it's less expensive.
Good.
Yep.
And just so I'm clear, the fencing, we'd have to make provisions for critter fence
Yes,
Only
yeah,
within the 100-foot,
yeah.
only within.
Only within the 100 feet.
for the 100 feet. and
Yeah,
so-
from the green line back to where your fence ends towards the back of your property.
Or you could just end your fence at the 100-foot buffer and don't worry about it, you know?
But that doesn't give you the privacy you want, so.
Yeah, there's going to be an owner in the back there that gets lights right in her.
Oh, I got you.
up
Yeah.
in her bedroom in her house, and they're older and they're not.
Are they on the bottom floor? Well, is there something you could do with shrubbery
Um,
to you know, to kind of maybe eliminate that where if it's going to shine through the 2-foot critter fence?
I mean, that's the fallback, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, there's not a lot of room there because you have the septic that you're dealing with.
Yeah, the
Yep.
large tree also there, right?
Yeah, you've got a massive tree, and so you've got the septic, so what you can do with like an arborvitae or something like that, you're really, really limited there. And they just have lights coming into their house all the time. And that's really one of the big reasons and that we wanted the privacy fence. So that's the challenge. But it would have to be a mix and match, something. You just don't have a lot of space with the elevated system back there.
Right, yeah, I understand that.
And then there's steps that also come into play, so it really minimizes what we could do.
Does this company offer any kind of an angled board that would block the light but still leave space between it, sort of like a Venetian blind?
Didn't really go there with it. There's so many.
Again, just for beyond the 100 feet.
Yeah, that's maybe something we can go back and take a look at. And
Yeah, that might be a solution, just, to block the light, but still,
Yeah, you've got openings for the critters.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah.
It's something I'll do. It was East Coast fence, so they're
Okay.
big. You go to Home Depot and just be able to take a look and see. I don't know how that would aesthetically look, is to have a privacy fence. You want something that is aesthetically, as you come up, you've got an older building.
Well, you could do
Yep.
that with the whole run of the fence then, if you went with the ones that are cantilevered or louvered, like, Savory said. And that way, it's, you'd have the same look and you'd still get your privacy. Because they're not angled that, super amount.
Right. Is there a spec on what qualifies as a critter fence?
Well, the fence that we usually require is 6 inches wide by 4 inches high, but we would probably allow 4 inches. It is going to end. If critters can't get through it, they can walk around it.
Yeah.
But we still do require access for some of the smaller wildlife, since it is they were there first. So I would just see if there's that option out there.
Okay, and that's fine. So
Yeah, bounce it off me and I can bounce it off of them before you come in, with a formal file and see if they're okay with it.
no, that sounds good.
All right, any other comments? Dan? Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Make sure you signed in. Great, thank you.
All right, since we're holding off on the minutes till we have a fuller crew, I just want to also say that we do have an opening on the Conservation Commission. And if anyone's interested in joining the Conservation Commission, go to the Select Board office in Town Hall and fill out an application. So, that being said, I'll entertain a motion to, yes.
Hold on, I got a couple little things.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. For November 16th, we're getting a fairly full agenda. So for site meetings, I have my manager's meeting at 10 o'clock the same day, the 16th. So either we could do them that afternoon or do them the day before. There's an ANRAD that's pretty extensive. Beals and Thomas would like to give us a show and tell on that.
Where is that?
Oh geez, I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay.
I don't have that job in front of me. But, what do you think?
How many site visits do we have as of now?
That one that on Stanley, 5 Stanley, that came before the RDA, remember that one? And we said, they retracted the filing. They're coming in with an NOI for the same fit. So there's that lot, you already know it. I don't know if you need to go re-see it. There's that ANRAD, there's an amended ANRAD, and then there's another amended plan that's coming in. But the biggest one is there's like almost 2,000 feet on that ANRAD that Beals and Thomas just gave us. So I don't know if you want to walk the whole thing. I'm going to walk it ahead of time. I don't know if you guys want to walk the whole thing or not as a group but they're willing to, Sarah and Andrew are willing to meet us out there and,
Okay, can we do it a different day?
yeah, we could do it the day before if you want, the Tuesday before, 15th.
I think I'm free. Are you okay with that? Why don't we tentatively say that?
Sure.
That we'll do it
10
on
o'clock?
Tuesday the 15th?
Because you like
10 o'clock is fine.
Okay.
November 15th?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say doing it Wednesday afternoon, but we changed the clocks, so it's gonna get
Exactly.
dark. And
Yeah.
All right, thanks for doing that, yeah, because I can't miss these manager meetings. And they take
when do they happen?
Normally, believe it or not, it's the first Wednesday. It's our first meeting of every month. But Bob had something going, so they kicked it to the 16th.
Okay,
So it's at 10 o'clock. And they usually go to noon.
okay, but the first Wednesday is also our meeting.
I
So-
know, and so that messes up with our, so for this, we didn't
Okay.
have any site meetings, so, it would have been okay.
Okay.
But anyway, and last but not least, Christmas is coming. And if we do a December 21st meeting, do you guys still want to hold that meeting? Since that's Christmas week, or do you want to just do the one meeting? What do you want, just to put the thought in your mind, you don't have to, or do you want to go ahead and just have it, or?
I would say let's make a determination at our December 7th meeting based on
Okay,
things that have come into you that need
Sure.
our ruling
I
on.
just wanted to put the thought in everybody's head.
Okay, but if there are things that are time sensitive and people want to
Okay.
get moving on things, then we owe it to them to do that.
Yeah, they're coming, because we got a COC coming in for the 16th, so
Right,
yeah,
and-
they're piling up.
And just so you know, I mean, so we all just understand, our next meeting is November 16th. And then
Correct.
we have 3 weeks till the next one.
That's right.
So, I would not want to go 3 weeks and then 4.
Okay, well, I'm just wanted
But
to put it
if
out
it's,
there.
if it's light like tonight's was, we could push it off.
Okay, fair enough. I just
All right.
wanted, like I
That
said,
work
put the
for
thought in
everyone?
your head.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, that's it for me.
All right, motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we're out. Thank you, Area 58.